So, namaste everyone. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to this second session of the third day on International Youth Conference on the Youth Initiatives on Transboundary Transboundary Water Governance and Sustainable Development Goals. I am Shrishti Dakal and will be facilitating this session on role of women and youth in citizen science and raising voice against gender-based violence. So the objective for this session is to understand the roles of women and youth in citizen science and raise voice against the gender-based violence, as well as we also want to have a clear understanding on how we can make the initiatives taken forward by the TROSA project as a sustainable one. So that is the main objective of this session. And today we have with us Dr. Madhuri Singh as the chair of this session. Dr. Madhuri Singh is the founding president of SATI, a pioneer organization to address violence against women and girls in Nepal. She has also co-founded and led several other civil society organizations. Dr. Singh has substantially contributed in women's rights movement for over 3 decades in Nepal and was actively engaged in formulation and amendment of policy law on GBV, women's human rights. She has represented the country at national and international forums and is recognized for her contribution in advancing gender equality. As presiding chair of RUDOC in 2012 and 2018, she contributed in the designing, implementation, monitoring, and the advancement of the TROSA project. Currently, she serves as the faculty at Tribhuvan University and Purvanchal University. So I would like to welcome and kindly request Dr. Madhuri Singh to chair the session and address a few words for initiating this session. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Singh.
Thank you, Shrishti. You have to bear with me for my voice. Everybody in my house has viral fever. So, that's also the reason that I could not be physically present there. And namaste and good afternoon to everybody. And also the other problem with us, again, we are talking about rivers and this and that, but then today in my house, I have electricity problem. So I'm going to put off my video in order to save the whatever remaining, power I need. And then again, I'll get back to you later, okay? Namaste, everybody. Namaste and a very good afternoon. In addressing, I would like to remember Honorable Dr. Arzu Rana Deuba, all the respected representatives of the provincial government, representatives of Oxfam, TROSA partners from the region, National Director for Nepal, Dr. K.K. Shrestha, and other country directors, presenters and experts, participants, stakeholders, and organizers. Today, I feel very honored to be chairing this session on role of women and youth in citizen science and raising voice against gender-based violence. I express my gratitude to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I have been listening to all the presenters for the last 3 days, the presenters, experts, government representatives in the last 2.5 days, and especially today morning session was very, very interesting in the role of youth. And I feel I have gained knowledge and feel encouraged to learn about the impact TROSA has made in the lives of the beneficiaries through very sincere engagement of all the stakeholders in saving our rivers to benefit the inhabitants around it. Just a while ago also, we heard how the early warning system had saved livestock and humans. So this is very, very encouraging to learn. And it is a much needed effort to save the planet Earth. Projects like TROSA. We humans, for our own need and greed, don't hesitate to tamper with the gift of nature knowingly or unknowingly, and it is timely, if not already late, to rectify our mistakes. I would say TROSA project directly contributes to the Sustainable Development Goals in eradicating poverty, goal number 1, in providing food and zero hunger, 2, good health and well-being, goal 3, and for good health and well-being, water is one of the most important component. And even in terms of quality education, goal number 4, because without education for women and youth, I don't think there would be much understanding and knowledge. And of course, the discussion for today is gender equality, goal number 5, because for non-discrimination, harassment, and non-violence, this is a very important goal. And clean water and sanitation, which is the main focus of TROSA. And as discussed in the earlier session also, climate change and life on land, and importantly, very importantly, the partnerships of all the stakeholders in obtaining our goal. So listening from the paper presenters, experts, and the government representatives, and especially to the morning session, as I told you earlier also, on role of youth, TROSA's impact at the household and community level, as well as in terms of transboundary initiative, is very encouraging. The satisfaction expressed yesterday by the mayors in terms of economic growth at household level due to the livelihood opportunities provided by the project and role of private sector's partnership in development sector is very encouraging. The role of youth and women as citizen scientists to save the riverine basins is impressive in contributing to save the surrounding and its inhabitants. As stakeholders in preserving biodiversity, they also have another major role of promoting gender equality and thereby reducing and preventing gender-based violence of any kind. In development, the concept of equality should go hand in hand, otherwise it will have lopsided results. So participation of women in the development projects such as TROSA encourages them to learn more, know their rights through the various exposure opportunities provided to them, and respond effectively to atrocities imposed upon them. Simultaneously, while learning about the preservation of nature, river, and biodiversity, a very important lesson to learn is about the protection of and promotion of female humans who occupy half of the globe. Sadly, in this progressive world, 1 in 3 women face violence in their lifetime, and 38% women are murdered by their intimate partner, just to give you 2 examples. And in today's world, not to say more, we hear of our sisters and mothers being beaten blue and black for very simple reasons, such as not having enough salt in the vegetable, or not complying with unexpected sexual demands, and just to prove the power dynamics. We hear of minors being sexually abused and murdered, and the cases suppressed to maintain family honor. So here I see a very big role of youth and also women in raising their voice against gender-based violence. And I feel that Citizen Scientists platform provides a very good opportunity. While doing the campaign to save and maintain rivers, it will be useful to provide substantial messages on how to reduce women's workload, provide healthy and violence-free environment, give them proper food and education, besides other facilities within the household and community. Opportunities provided to women to participate in such projects not only enhances their learning in diverse fields, but also enables them to be economically sustained, thus reducing the chances of facing violence. Thus, I see a great opportunity in the role of youth and women to raise voice against gender-based violence, not only taking curative measures when things already happen, but also by preventing it from happening at all. So thank you, and I wish for a very successful outcome from TROSA in our region. And and of course, for the reduction of gender-based violence in our region. Thank you, and back to you now, Srishti.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh. Thank you for joining us despite your challenges and adversities, and wishing you and your family speedy recovery. Now, moving forward, today we'll have 4 presentations from Nepal, India, and Bangladesh, followed by a short video on youth basin ambassadors and the special remarks. We'll have 10 minutes for each presentation, and I would like to welcome all the speakers and audience, and also would like to request you all to put your queries and questions, or even if you have feedbacks in the chat box. And as we are running late, I would like to start with welcoming Ms. Bhavana Khadka from Nepal as our first speaker. She is the coordinator of Bahadur Women Empowerment Center at Mahakali River Basin. Through her WEC Center, that is the Women Economic Empowerment Center, Bhavana and her members carried out the objective of increased participation and influencing women in transboundary water governance policies and processes. Leading her team, Bhavana lobbied with the local government, and they were able to allocate budget for clean drinking water at Ghatte plot, her community in Dadeldura. Similarly, Ms. Khadka has been raising voice against gender-based violence, equal distribution of budget to women and marginalized community, lobbying for income generation activities. She is engaged in designing sustainable framework of Women Empowerment Center, coordinating with the local government at the basin area. Unfortunately, today Bhavana ji is not joining us live, and our team will be playing the presentation she has made for us. So over to our team to share her presentation. Thank you.
अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय पानीमाथिको सुशासन सम्बन्धमा युवाहरूको पहल विषय अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय युवा सम्मेलनका सहभागी सम्पूर्ण व्यक्तिहरूलाई मेरो तर्फबाट हार्दिक नमस्कार। म बाहादुरे महिला सशक्तिकरण केन्द्र परशुराम नगरपालिका डडेलधुराको सहभागी भावना खड्काको तर्फबाट आजको यस सम्मेलनमा म महाकाली तटीय क्षेत्रहरूमा महिला सशक्तिकरण केन्द्रहरू र युवाहरूको सञ्चालन गरेका लैङ्गिक हिंसा विरुद्धका अभियान र पानीको शुद्धता परीक्षण उपलब्धि बारेमा प्रस्तुति गर्न गइरहेको छु। यसमा त्यहाँको सल्लाह सुझावको अपेक्षा समेत गरेकी छु। महाकाली नदी बेसिन नेपाल र भारतको सीमा क्षेत्र हो। यस बेसिनले नेपालतर्फका 4 जिल्लालाई सीमा जिल्लाका रूपमा छुट्याएको छ। हामीले यस बेसिन क्षेत्रमा महिला र युवा सम्बन्धितका विभिन्न अभियान र कार्यहरू सञ्चालन गर्दा पानीको शुद्धता र यसको परीक्षण प्रस्ताव भोगका कुराहरूबारे जानकारी नहुनु र धेरै जसो समुदायहरूले त्यही पानी सोझै पिउनु, बेसिन क्षेत्रमा अवस्थित र नदी किनारमा फोहोर फाल्ने कार्यहरू भइरहनु, महिला तटीय क्षेत्रहरूमा क्षमता विकास र आर्थिक सशक्तिकरणसँग सम्बोधितका अवसरहरू अत्यन्तै कम हुनु र बेला बेलामा लैङ्गिक तथा महिला हिंसासँग सम्बन्धित घटनाहरू भइरहनु जस्ता धेरै कुराहरूको अभाव हामीले झेलेका थियौँ। यस्ता समस्या र अभावहरू झेलेर पनि हाम्रो अभियान यस बेसिनमा विगत 3 वर्षदेखि निरन्तर चलिरहेको यस क्रममा हामीले 139 जना महिला र युवाहरू मिली महाकाली बेसिन क्षेत्र अन्तर्गतका नेपाल र भारततर्फ पिउने पानीको मुहानहरू र महाकाली नदीको पानीको शुद्धता परीक्षण कार्य सम्पन्न गर्यौं। योजना तर्जुमा प्रक्रियाभित्र समावेश गरी स्थानीय सरकारलाई सरसफाई योजना बनाउन लगाई व्यवस्थित डम्पिङ क्षेत्रहरूको पहिचान गर्न लगायौं। महाकाली बेसिनमा रहेका सबै पौरवी समूहको सञ्जाल निर्माण गरी स्थानीय सरकार सँगै जनचेतनामूलक अभियानहरू सञ्चालन गर्नुका साथसाथै सुदूरपश्चिम प्रदेश सरकारलाई महिला सशक्तिकरण कार्यक्रम निर्देशिका 2077 अन्तर्गत विभिन्न महिला लक्षित कार्यक्रम सञ्चालन गर्न महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका निर्वाह गरिन्। कोभिड महामारीको 3 महिनाको दौरानमा प्रत्येक हप्ता व्यक्तिगत र पारिवारिक सरसफाइमूलक कार्यक्रमहरू सञ्चालन गर्नुका साथै विभिन्न क्षेत्रमा रहेका महिला एवं सीमान्तकृत वर्गहरूलाई आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण र क्षमता विकास जस्ता अभिमुखीकरण कार्यक्रमहरू सञ्चालनका साथसाथै आय आर्जन र जीविकोपार्जनसँग सम्बन्धित कार्यक्रम सञ्चालनका लागि करिब 20 लाख बजेट वियोजन गर्न समेत सफल रह्यौं। यसैगरी बेसिन क्षेत्रमा लैङ्गिक हिंसा विरुद्धका 47 वटा मुद्दा एवं घटनाहरूलाई सामुदायिक मेलमिलाप केन्द्रमा पठाउनका साथसाथै कोभिड-19 महामारीको दौरानमा 76 जनालाई मनोसामाजिक परामर्श दिन समेत सफल रह्यौं। यी उपलब्धि सफल गर्नमा यस बेसिन क्षेत्रमा महिला सशक्तिकरण केन्द्र र युवाहरूको ठूलो योगदान रहेको छ। हामीले महाकाली नदी बेसिन क्षेत्रमा अभियानहरू सञ्चालन गर्दा बखतमा यस क्षेत्रको भौगोलिक विपन्नता, पानीको शुद्धता परीक्षणका क्रममा परेका केही प्राथमिक कठिनाइहरू लैङ्गिक हिंसा न्यूनीकरणका अभियान सञ्चालन गर्दा आकर्षित हुने नेपालको संवेदनशील कानुनी प्रक्रियाहरू विरुद्ध सकारात्मक सोच भएको समाज र भारततर्फको समग्र दृष्टिकोण जस्ता कुराहरू हाम्रो लागि एक चुनौतीको विषयहरू रहेर पनि हामीले हाम्रा उपलब्धिहरू हासिल गर्यौं। यस किसिमका चुनौती समाधान गर्ने क्रममा हामीले स्थानीय सरकारलाई प्राविधिक सल्लाह लिने, पानीको शुद्धता र सरसफाइ योजना स्थानीय तहको योजनामा पारित गराउने, महिला सशक्तिकरणलाई दीर्घकालीन बनाउन स्थानीय तहमा दर्ता गर्ने, नेपाल भारत पौरवी मञ्चसँग समन्वय क्षमता विकास गर्ने, कार्यशालाहरू एवं तटीय क्षेत्रमा नियमित स्थानीय सरकारसँग लबी बैठक र बेला बेलामा विभिन्न अभियानहरू सञ्चालन गरिरह्यौं। देश सरकारले जारी गरेको महिला सशक्तिकरण कार्यक्रम निर्देशिका 2077 लाई स्थानीय तहमा कार्यान्वयन गराउन गरेको दबाव हाम्रा लागि सहयोगी साबित भयो। यसरी महाकाली बेसिन क्षेत्रमा महिला सशक्तिकरण केन्द्रहरूका साथै युवाहरूले सञ्चालन गरेको लैङ्गिक हिंसा विरुद्धका अभियान र पानीको शुद्धता परीक्षण अभियानहरूलाई हामीले सफल र सार्थक बनाउन सक्षम भएका छौं। हाम्रा यस कार्यक्रममा त्यहाँको आवश्यक सल्लाह सहयोगको समेत हामीले अपेक्षा लिएका छौं। हजुर धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
Thank you very much, Pavana ji, for sharing the major achievements and the works done by Women Empowerment Center and showing us how youth and women can be engaged in citizen science, how they are engaged and how they are raising their voice and the challenges that you have faced. So she also, like in her summarizing her presentation, she shared about the advocacy and lobbying that was done with the local government, with the provincial government, and also like how they were building the agency of youth and women. She gave us the overview of the Mahakali River Basin, which before the intervention of the project, which were like, the community, the local governments were unaware of the status of water quality in Mahakali, and Mahakali River Basin being the dumping sites that, and also the cases or increase of the cases of GBV, and also like she also shared about that before the intervention there was less engagement and opportunities for youth and marginalized community. And a few of the achievements that she shared was building the capacity of 139 WEC centers members, including the youth of these youth for the citizen science testing. So being the scientists in the local level, also the water quality testing and the support they provided for COVID response and awareness, the sanitation plan they developed for proper dumping sites with the local government, and also the lobbying with the government and ensuring that the budget is allocated in the local government planning for water quality testing and for raising voice against gender-based violence. So these were the key highlights that she shared, and also she also highlighted that the geographical location, inadequate budget, the patriarchal thoughts were the key challenges, and the technical capacity was also the key challenges they faced during their intervention. Now, moving forward, it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Chandan Kumar Dwivedi and Urmila Prajapati for the second presentation from India. Mr. Dwivedi is currently working with Oxfam India as Senior Consultant in TROSA project. He brings 7 years of experience in social development sector. He received certificate of disaster risk reduction catalyst from UNICEF Bihar for saving lives during 2016 floods in Bihar. His work focuses on water and DRR intervention in Mahakali River at present. He has been associated with TROSA project from the beginning and was the part of many success of the project, like the state and national level consultation and existing water governance policy, and the framework for policy making, transformational leadership through GPDP, citizen science approach, basin CSOs networking, while his co-presenter, Ms. Urmila, is also working with Oxfam India as a community mobilizer. She also brings 3 years of experience in social sector development with focus on water and disaster risk reduction in Mahakali River. She was successful in strengthening the village water management committee, supporting the community for safe drinking water, facilitating the youth and citizen science for water quality testing, and also with engaging with CBOs and community groups on advocacy and documentation. Now, I request Mr. Dwivedi and Ms. Prajapati to please begin the presentation. Thank you.
पहले तो मैं आप सभी को धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगी कि इस मंच के माध्यम से मुझे अपने कार्यों को साझा करने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है। आप सभी को मेरा नमस्ते। मेरा नाम उर्मिला प्रजापति है। ऑक्सफैम इंडिया के दिशा निर्देशों में ट्रोसा परियोजना चलाई जा रही है। ये परियोजना एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय परियोजना। इस परियोजना में मैं एक क्षेत्रीय कार्यकर्ता के रूप में कार्य करती हूँ। ये नेपाल और भारत के संयुक्त नदी घाटी शारदा महाकाली पर क्रियान्वित है। यह परियोजना एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय परियोजना है। इस परियोजना में हम लोगों ने समुदाय को जल अधिकार, जल संसाधन अधिकार व मानव अधिकार को जेंडर लेंस से किस तरीके से जोड़ते हैं, आइए जानते हैं। जेंडर समानता को बरकरार रखने के लिए परियोजना की शुरुआत में हम लोगों ने यह निर्णय किया कि हम लोग 4 प्रकार का संगठन का निर्माण करेंगे। सभी संगठनों में महिलाओं की बराबरी की सहभागिता दी जाएगी। पहला संगठन हम लोगों ने जल प्रबंधन का किया। इसमें हमने इस संगठन को ग्राम जल प्रबंधन समिति का नाम दिया, जिसमें महिलाओं से जुड़े मुद्दों को ग्राम पंचायत से सरकारी विभाग तक पहुंचाया जा सके एवं प्रत्येक ग्राम विकास योजना निर्माण में महिलाओं की सहभागिता हो सके, ऐसी सोच रखी गई। दूसरा संगठन हम लोगों ने लोक विज्ञान का बनाया गया। इसमें भी महिलाओं को बराबरी की सहभागिता दी गई, जिसमें महिलाएं भी जल जांच करके सरकार से जन पैरवी कर सकती हैं और अपने जल अधिकारों की रक्षा कर सकती हैं। तीसरा संगठन हम लोगों ने वॉलेंटियर ग्रुप के नाम से तैयार किया। इसमें भी महिलाओं को बराबरी की सहभागिता दी गई। इसके अंतर्गत हम पूर्व सूचना तंत्र आपदा जोखिम का कार्य संपादित करते हैं। चौथा संगठन शारदा नदी नागरिक मंच का हम लोगों ने बनाया। यह ग्रुप बाकी तीन ग्रुपों के हर तरीके के मुद्दों की जन पैरवी करेगा, ऐसी सोच रखी गई। इसमें भी महिलाओं को बराबरी की सहभागिता दी गई। आइए जानते हैं इन सभी ग्रुपों को बनाने में चैलेंज या अचीवमेंट या फ्यूचर प्लान क्या है। यदि हम चैलेंज की बात करते हैं तो परियोजना की शुरुआत में महिलाओं को सामाजिक दबाव के कारण मीटिंग में बैठने में बहुत ही हिचकिचाहट होती थी। जल का हमारे जीवन में क्या महत्व है, जल का हम लोग किस तरीके से प्रबंधन कर सकते हैं, इस तरीके का उनको कोई भी नॉलेज नहीं था। पुरुषों की तरफ से महिलाओं को बैठक में बैठने का अवसर भी नहीं दिया जाता था। अगर हम लोग अचीवमेंट की बात करते हैं तो HRBA PVCA के माध्यम से जल जांच और जल अधिकारों पर हम लोगों ने क्षमता वर्धन किया। परियोजना की तरफ से जेंडर कार्यशाला का आयोजन किया जिसमें महिलाओं को उनके अधिकारों व समानता के बारे में पूर्ण प्रशिक्षण दिलवाया गया, जिसमें महिलाओं में बहुत बदलाव देखने को मिला। जैसे कि अभी कुछ दिन पहले SIPRD के एक प्रशिक्षण में हमारे क्षेत्र ग्राम अतरिया से ज्योति निषाद एक बहन को हम लोगों ने तैयार किया जाने के लिए। उसके माता पिता तैयार थे, किंतु उसके भाइयों की तरफ से बहुत ही प्रकार की दिक्कतें थी। वहां पर असम जाने के बाद भी उसके भाइयों की तरफ से रोज फोन करके काफी तरीके से उल्टी सीधे बातों का सामना भी करना पड़ता था। जितने दिन वो वहां पर जो हमारी बहन रही वहां पर ट्रेनिंग में उसने बहुत कुछ सीखा। सीखने के बाद यहाँ पर आई और लोगों को उसने अपनी सारी सीख को साझा किया, जिससे हमारी और महिला बहनों को मार्गदर्शन मिला। तीसरा, सरकार से जुड़कर एक महिलाएं अपने आप को सरकार के द्वारा चलाई जा रही सामाजिक सुरक्षा योजनाओं से जोड़ रही हैं। अगर हम लोग फ्यूचर की बात करते हैं तो महिला समूह का यह कहना है कि हमारा ऐसे जगहों पर आना जाना होते रहना चाहिए। अपने जल अधिकार व जल सुशासन प्रबंधन पर कुछ सीख सके, वह अपने में उसे उतार सकें। महिलाएं शारदा नदी नागरिक मंच व जल प्रबंधन समिति में अच्छी भूमिका निभा सके। ग्राम विकास योजना व जल निर्माण हो तो उसमें महिलाएं भी अपना पक्ष रख सकें। भविष्य में WG कैन पे WG कैन को महिलाएं खुद संभाल सके, इस तरीके की महिलाओं की फ्यूचर की सोच है। साथ ही मैं अपने श्री चंदन सर को आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी कि आगे के कार्य को वो पूर्ण करें।
धन्यवाद उर्मिला जी, धन्यवाद सभी ऑक्सफैम नेपाल टीम को और सभी हमारे साथियों को जिन्होंने जो है हम लोग को आज मौका दिया ताकि हम लोग भी अपनी परियोजना के बारे में आप सभी लोग के साथ महिलाओं के जो जेंडर बेस्ड वायलेंस है उनके बारे में साझा करें और यूथ कैसे हम लोग के साथ हमारे इस प्रोजेक्ट के साथ इंटीग्रेटेड है और कैसे वो काम कर रहा है इसके बारे में हम लोग आपके साथ साझा करें। तो पुनः सबको एक बार नमस्कार है। मेरा नाम चंदन द्विवेदी है और मैं महाकाली बेसिन में ट्रोसा प्रोजेक्ट के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूँ। यह ट्रोसा प्रोजेक्ट पिछले 2017 से हम लोग जो है इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं, नेपाल टीम के साथ इंटीग्रेट होके जॉइंटली हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। तो उर्मिला जी ने काफी सारा कुछ जो है बताया है कि कैसे हम लोगों ने अलग अलग संस्थाएं इनफॉर्मल संस्थाओं का गठन किया और वाटर राइट्स को लेकर 4 पिलर्स के अकॉर्डिंग जो हम लोग जिसको नाम देते हैं प्रोटेक्ट, रिस्पेक्ट, रेमेडी और जेंडर। प्रोटेक्ट का मतलब कि जो गवर्नमेंट वाटर राइट्स जो हमारे बेसिन के जो कम्युनिटी हैं उनके वाटर राइट्स को सुरक्षित रखे और इसी तरीके से रिस्पेक्ट का मतलब यह है कि जो हमारे प्राइवेट सेक्टर हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं जो हमारे बेसिन में जो नदियां हैं जो हमारे वाटर बॉडी हैं थोड़ा सा पानी को जो है इफेक्ट कर रहे हैं, तो वो लोग भी जो है हमारे बेसिन में जो लोग हैं उनके वाटर राइट्स का रिस्पेक्ट करें। और रेमेडी का मतलब यह है कि जो हमारी बेसिन की कम्युनिटी है उनको हम लोग तैयार करें कि वो लोग समझें कि उनका वाटर राइट क्या है और वो लोग कैसे उसको गवर्नमेंट के साथ एडवोकेसी करें और फिर गवर्नमेंट को भी ये बताएं कि हाँ हम लोग के वाटर राइट्स ये हैं, तो हमारे लिए ये पानी के वाटर राइट्स बदलने चाहिए, आप लोग इसको पॉलिसी में लेकर आ सकते हैं। और ठीक इसी तरीके से लास्ट जो हमारा पॉइंट है, जो पिलर है हमारा स्ट्रोसा प्रोजेक्ट का सबसे मेन पिलर जो है वो जेंडर है। तो जेंडर का ये है कि हम लोगों ने अपने जितनी भी ट्रोसा की एक्टिविटी की है उस एक्टिविटी में जो है जेंडर का इंटीग्रेशन होना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि अगर जो वुमेन किसी भी एक्टिविटी में इंटीग्रेट नहीं होती है तो हमें लगता है कि वुमेन का जो पक्ष है वो हम लोग कहीं ना कहीं छोड़ देते हैं, और फिर उससे क्या होता है कि जेंडर बेस्ड वायलेंस की स्थिति क्रिएट होती है। और हम लोग अक्सर ही देखते हैं कि पानी के साथ, नदियों के साथ, या फिर जो हमारे बेसिन में समुदाय बसे हैं, अगर जो ज्यादातर जुड़ाव देखा जाए तो पानी के साथ जो ज्यादा जुड़ाव है वो महिलाओं का है। तो मुझे लगता है कि उस पर डिसीजन लेने का भी ज्यादा जो है अवसर महिलाओं को ही मिलना चाहिए। तो इतना तो उर्मिला जी ने शेयर ही किया। मैं साथ में ये भी शेयर करना चाहता हूँ कि हमारे इस ट्रोसा प्रोजेक्ट में यूथ्स का काफी मतलब ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है। वो इसलिए है क्योंकि हम सभी लोग जानते हैं कि अगर जो किसी भी तरीके का इनोवेशन है या फिर जो है एक रेजिंग अवेयरनेस है, तो उसमें यूथ एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है, और आने वाली जनरेशन में भी वो एक अच्छा डिसीजन मेकर और इम्प्लीमेंटर हो सकता है। तो हम लोग जो है, हम लोग का मानना ये है कि हम लोग अगर जो अभी से उनको इनके वाटर राइट्स या फिर जो है इनके जो है रिवर बेसिन राइट्स के बारे में अगर जो उनको बताते हैं तो आगे चलकर उनके लिए ये काफी अच्छा होगा। और अगर जो हम इस दृष्टिकोण से भी देखें कि हमारे इस ट्रोसा प्रोजेक्ट में, तो हमारे ट्रोसा प्रोजेक्ट में जो यूथ है उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा इम्पोर्टेंट जो है रोल प्ले किया है। जैसे अगर जो हम सस्टेनेबल गोल की बात करें तो उसको मद्देनजर रखते हुए भी हम लोगों ने पूरे बेसिन में, अगर जो हम धारचूला से बहराइच तक की बात करें, तो हम लोगों ने यूथ ग्रुप बनाया है, और यूथ ग्रुप बनाने के बाद हम लोगों ने सिटीजन साइंस और अर्ली वार्निंग कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट हो इसके लिए उनका समय समय पर कैपेसिटी बिल्ड किया है। इसके पीछे का जो हमारा उद्देश्य था वो ये था कि आने वाले समय में हमारे यूथ जब इम्प्लीमेंटर्स बनेंगे, जब वो डिसीजन मेकर्स बनेंगे, तो वो लोग इस चीज को समझें कि हाँ बेसिन में जो वाटर राइट्स है वो कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है, अर्ली वार्निंग फ्लड के टाइम पे कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है, और उससे कितनी जो है लोगों को सुरक्षा मिल सकती है। तो ये यूथ के साथ हम लोगों ने अभी इस ट्रोसा प्रोजेक्ट के अंतर्गत किया। और हम सभी लोग जानते हैं कि हमारा जो हमारा जो यूथ का जो पॉपुलेशन है इस पूरे बेसिन में लगभग 60% पॉपुलेशन है, और अगर जो हम लोग यूथ को एंगेज करते हैं अपने इन सारे इंटरवेंशंस को लेकर, तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं पूरे प्रोजेक्ट में और इवन आने वाले टाइम में भी जो है बहुत ज्यादा मदद मिलेगी। और दूसरा चीज हम लोगों ने देखा कि यूथ्स के साथ हम लोगों ने सीएसओ नेटवर्किंग को भी जो है काफी ज्यादा जो है प्रमोट किया है, अप स्ट्रीम से लेकर डाउन स्ट्रीम तक, यानी कि धारचूला से लेकर बहराइच तक, ताकि जो है पॉलिसी लेवल पे, रीजनल लेवल पे वो लोग जो है इन सभी
चंदन जी, may I request you to please complete it quite sooner because we only have 1 minute.
ओके, जस्ट गिव मी 1 मिनट। तो मैं इसको ये कह रहा था कि हम लोगों ने कोशिश किया है कि यूथ्स को सेवरल मतलब अलग अलग एरिया में उनको जो है थोड़ा सा हम लोग कैपेसिटी बिल्ड करें, जैसे वाटर स्कैर्सिटी को लेकर, सेफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर को लेकर, वाटर पॉल्यूशन को लेकर, रिड्यूसिंग एक्वाफायर्स को लेकर, क्लाइमेट चेंज को लेकर, स्किल डेवलपमेंट को लेकर, इवन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप ऑन रिवर को लेकर। तो ये सारे एरिया थे जिसपे हम लोग यूथ को कैपेसिटी बिल्ड कर रहे हैं और आगे भी करते रहेंगे। और हम लोग का जो फ्यूचर प्लान है यूथ को लेकर, वो बेसिकली 2 फ्यूचर प्लान हम लोगों ने किया है कि हम लोग एंगेजिंग यूथ फॉर इंटीग्रेटिंग वाटर रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट, की जो इंटीग्रेटेड वाटर रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट है उसको लेकर यूथ को एंगेज करें, ताकि यूथ ये समझ पाए कि हम लोग के लिए पानी और नदी से जो वाटर राइट्स है वो कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है। दूसरा, चूंकि हम सब लोग जानते हैं कि डिजिटल इंडिया की बात हम लोग कर रहे हैं, तो क्यों ना हम अपने जो ये पूरे वाटर राइट्स हैं या फिर जो है वाटर को लेकर जो भी समस्याएं हैं उनका एक पूरा क्यूरिकुलम बनाया जाए, और उसको आने वाले जो यूथ हैं उनके साथ जो है हम लोग इसको जो है इस क्यूरिकुलम को जो है उनको टीच करें, एजुकेट करें कि ये क्यूरिकुलम आप पढ़ते हैं तो आपको ये समझ में आता है कि आपके वाटर राइट्स क्या हैं। तो सभी साथियों को धन्यवाद। मैं इन्हीं बातों के साथ अपनी बात को जो है रोकना चाहूंगा, और यदि किसी को कोई इस पे सवाल होगा तो वो भी आप लोग बताइएगा हमें कि कैसे हम लोग इसको और बेहतर कर सकते हैं। धन्यवाद सभी साथियों को।
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chandanji and Urmilaji, for highlighting the key challenges of Indian youth and women in the citizen science, especially the challenges brought by the patriarchal mindsets and the traditional gender norms, which, which are the women facing the challenge in participating, the constraints that it comes, and also for highlighting the initiatives taken and the achievements that you have brought about, about the training the women and people involved with you on gender initiatives on GVV and what needs to be done. So thank you very much for sharing all the initiatives and all. So now moving forward, we have the presentation from Bangladesh. By Ms. Aisha Siddiqui and Ratna Akhtar. Ms. Aisha Siddiqui is working as field officer at TROSA project in Center for Natural Resource Studies. She works with the Meghna River-centric community. She has been working for people whose life and livelihoods depends on the river. She advocates the rights of fisher folks communities and makes them aware of their rights. She inspires youth and women in the community to be the leaders in the river governance. She lives in the place where the Meghna River joins the other two rivers to the way to the Bay of Bengal. She has also, she has, closely observed and experienced the struggles of the riverine communities to put their livelihood together. Being involved in voluntary works through her students' lives, she was inspired to do something for this vulnerable community. So now she conducts Nodi Boithak to bring out the real-time problems and the concerns of the river governance. And also her co-presenter, Ms. Ratna Akhtar, is currently pursuing her postgraduate from Chandanpur Government College. She is engaged in various social movements as volunteers. She is working with the social movement against corruption as a member of Youth and Engagement Yes group of the Transparency International Bangladesh. She is the youth volunteer of TROSA project. And she too lives in the riverine of Meghna and has also seen the struggle of riverine communities. She was awarded with the Best Youth Engagement and Support by Support Yes Award 2018. So I request both of you to please begin your presentation.
Thank you, Srishti. I am sharing my presentation of on Hub Us because Ratna could not participate due to network problem. I would like to presenting in Bangla and Nujatapu will help for English. So I am sharing my screen.
Chandan, can you turn off your video sharing, please? Hello, Chandanji, can you please turn off the video sharing? Chandanji and Urmilaji, please. Yes, thank you.
Okay, can you share my screen?
Screen share.
Sorry, already I am.
Yeah.
Sharing.
Yeah,
Can you
can
see?
share. Yeah. Please proceed. Yeah. So you have 10 minutes.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, স্বাগতম সবাইকে। আমি আয়েশা সিদ্দিকা, TROSA প্রকল্পের সাথে গত 3 বছর ধরে কাজ করছি ফ্যাসিলিটেটর হিসেবে। TROSA মূলত ট্রান্সবাউন্ডারি রিভার গভর্নেন্স নিয়ে অ্যাডভোকেসি কাজ করে, যেখানে প্রান্তিক ফিশার কমিউনিটির সুবিধা অসুবিধা ভয়েস গুলো আমরা মৎস্য ব্যবস্থাপনা পলিসিতে তুলে ধরার চেষ্টা করি। আমি একজন ইয়ুথ এবং নারী হিসেবে TROSAর সাথে কাজ করে ট্রান্সবাউন্ডারি রিভার গভর্নেন্সে আমার অভিজ্ঞতা আজকে তুলে ধরবো। সেই সাথে আলোচনা করব সিটিজেন সায়েন্স এবং জেন্ডার বেসড ভায়োলেন্স কিভাবে আমার কাজের সাথে যুক্ত ছিল। প্রথমে আমি TROSAতে আমার জার্নি সম্পর্কে আলোচনা করতে চাই। স্টুডেন্ট থেকে শুরু করে বিভিন্ন ভলেন্টিয়ারিং কাজ করেছি, বিভিন্ন সংস্থার সাথে কাজ করেছি, বিভিন্ন অসহায় মানুষের সাথে পাশে দাঁড়িয়েছি তাদের সাহায্য করার জন্য, বিভিন্ন পেশাজীবী মানুষের কাছে গিয়েছি, তাদের গল্প শুনেছি। যেহেতু আমি নদীর পাড়ের একটা মেয়ে, মেঘনা বেসিনের একটা মেয়ে, সেহেতু নদীর সম্পর্কে, নদীর এলাকার মানুষ সম্পর্কে, মৎস্যজীবীদের সম্পর্কে জানার আগ্রহ এবং তাদের নিয়ে কাজ করা, তাদের অসহায়ত্ব নিয়ে কাজ করার একটা গভীর স্বপ্ন ছিল সব সময়। কিন্তু সুযোগ এবং স্থানের কারণে আমি আসলে আমার স্বপ্নটা পূরণ করে আসতে পারছিলাম না। সেই সাথে আমাদের সমাজ এবং আমাদের পারিবারিক কিছু সমস্যার কারণে ভলেন্টিয়ারিং যে কাজগুলো সেগুলো চালিয়ে নেওয়া একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছিল। কিন্তু পরিবার এবং আশেপাশের লোকজন যখন দেখলো যে এই কাজগুলো আসলেই ভবিষ্যতের জন্য এবং আমাদের বিভিন্ন অসহায় কমিউনিটির জন্য খুবই ভালো, তখন তারা আমাকে সাপোর্ট দেওয়া শুরু করে। তখন আমি আমার ভলেন্টিয়ারিং কাজ চালিয়ে যাই। কিন্তু নদী কমিউনিটি নিয়ে কাজ করার কোনো সুযোগ আমি পাচ্ছিলাম না, কারণ এই কমিউনিটি নিয়ে কাজ করার জন্য স্পেসিফিক আমার কোনো ওয়ে পাচ্ছিলাম না। কিন্তু 2017 সালে যখন আমার জেলাতে চাঁদপুর জেলায় যখন প্রস্তাব প্রকল্পের কাজ শুরু হয়, পরবর্তী 2018 সালে প্রসার চাকরির বিজ্ঞপ্তি দেখে আমি প্রসার সাথে যুক্ত হয়ে যাই এবং সেই সুযোগটাকে আমার স্বপ্ন পূরণের জন্য আমি কাজে লাগাতে শুরু করি। প্রসা মূলত প্রসার অনেক কাজ করা সত্ত্বেও প্রসার অন্যতম একটা কাজ হচ্ছে নদী বৈঠক করা। বাংলাদেশের প্রসার প্রকল্প জেলাগুলোতে নদী কেন্দ্রিক যে জেলা উপজেলাগুলো আছে, সেই জেলা উপজেলা কেন্দ্রিক বিভিন্ন গ্রাম এবং ইউনিয়ন ভিত্তিক আমরা নদী বৈঠক করে থাকি। প্রত্যেক মাসে বিভিন্ন গ্রাম ভিত্তিক ফিশার কমিউনিটি নারী পুরুষ এবং ইউথদের সাথে আমরা 2টা 3টা বা 4টা করে নদী বৈঠক করার চেষ্টা করি। সেই সাথে মাসিক নদী বৈঠক ছাড়াও বিভিন্ন দিবস গুলা পালন করে থাকি ওই কমিউনিটির সাথে, সেটা নদী দিবস, পানি দিবস, নারী দিবস, যাতে হচ্ছে তাদের নদী সম্পর্কে, নদীর সুরক্ষা সম্পর্কে, বিভিন্ন জিনিস সম্পর্কে তাদেরকে আমরা অবগত করি এবং তাদের সচেতনতা বৃদ্ধি করার চেষ্টা করি। এছাড়া নদী বৈঠকে মূলত তারা তাদের সমসাময়িক সমস্যাগুলো নিয়ে আমাদের সাথে আলোচনা করে এবং তাদের মতামত প্রদান করে কিভাবে সেই জিনিসটা আমরা সলিউশন করতে পারি বা তাদের মতামত কিভাবে আমরা মৎস্য ব্যবস্থাপনা পলিসিতে তুলে ধরতে পারি, সেই জিনিসগুলো নিয়ে তারা আমাদের সাথে নদী বৈঠকে আলোচনা করে। এবং নারীরা আলোচনা করে কিভাবে তাদের সাথে এই নদী কিভাবে নারীদের সাথে আসলে সম্পৃক্ত, নদীর বিভিন্ন সমস্যা সুবিধা অসুবিধা কিভাবে নারীদের অসুবিধাগুলো হচ্ছে, সেই জিনিসগুলো নদী বৈঠকে তারা আমাদের সাথে আলোচনা করে। পরবর্তীতে সেই আলোচনাগুলো আমরা বিভিন্ন পর্যায়ে ন্যাশনাল বিভিন্ন পর্যায়ে গিয়ে এই জিনিসগুলো প্রশাসনিক লেভেলের সাথে আলোচনা করে থাকি। প্রসা নদী বৈঠকের পাশাপাশি হিলসা ফিশারিজ ম্যানেজমেন্ট নিয়ে হিলসা ওয়াচ নামে একটা কার্যক্রম পরিচালনা করে। বাংলাদেশের বিভিন্ন জেলাতে এই কার্যক্রমটা একসাথে পরিচালিত হয়। দেশের বিভিন্ন সময়ে নদীতে হিলসা বা অন্যান্য ব্যান্ড অভিযানের সময়গুলোতে, বিশেষ করে হিলসা ব্যান্ড পিরিয়ডে এই কার্যক্রমটি পরিচালনা করা হয়। নিজ নিজ জেলার ভলেন্টিয়াররা তাদের এলাকার জেলে কমিউনিটির জন্য এই কাজটা করে থাকে। এই কাজটা মূলত পুরো দেশের যখন হিলসা ব্যান্ড পিরিয়ড চলে, জাটকা মা ইলিশ রক্ষার সময়, তার আগেও পরে তারা তাদের জেলে কমিউনিটির মানবাধিকার লঙ্ঘন হচ্ছে কিনা, কি কি অসুবিধা হচ্ছে, কতটুকু পালন করা হচ্ছে সেই অভিযান, এবং তাদের কি কি সুবিধা অসুবিধা দেওয়া হচ্ছে বা কি কি অসুবিধাগুলো হচ্ছে সেই জিনিসগুলো জানার জন্য এই ইয়েটা করা হয়, তথ্য সংগ্রহ করা হয়, যেটা হিলসা ওয়াচ নামে পরিচিত। এছাড়াও দেশের বিভিন্ন জেলার ভলেন্টিয়াররা নির্দিষ্ট কাজ ছাড়াও বিভিন্ন প্রোগ্রাম তারা অর্গানাইজ করে থাকে তাদের এলাকার ভলেন্টিয়ারদের, তাদের এলাকার ইউথদের এবং তাদের এলাকার নারী জেলেদের দক্ষতা বৃদ্ধির জন্য, তাদের সচেতন করার জন্য নদী এবং নদীর সুরক্ষা এবং বিভিন্ন বিষয়ে, সেজন্য তারা সেই কাজ করে থাকে। এছাড়া দেশে বিভিন্ন দুর্যোগে মহামারীতে তারা আমাদের সাথে সবসময় সম্পৃক্ত থাকে। যেহেতু বর্তমানে আমাদের ইউথদের কমিউনিকেশন লেভেলটা খুবই স্ট্রং, সেজন্য তারা ডে টু ডে বা উইকলি আমাদের সেই তথ্যগুলো দিয়ে থাকে তাদের এলাকার সমস্যাগুলো নিয়ে। এতক্ষণ আমি প্রসার কার্যক্রম সম্পর্কে আলোচনা করেছি। এখন আমি প্রসার সাথে যুক্ত একজন ইয়ুথ এবং নারী হিসেবে আমার অভিজ্ঞতাগুলো আপনাদের সাথে শেয়ার করতে চাই। প্রসার প্রকল্পটা শুরু করার আগে আমি বলেছিলাম যে আমার নদী সম্পর্কে, তার মানুষ সম্পর্কে তেমন ধারণা ছিল না, কিন্তু এখানে যুক্ত হওয়ার পর আমি বিভিন্ন মিটিং, ট্রেনিং, ওয়ার্কশপ, ন্যাশনাল ইন্টারন্যাশনাল বিভিন্ন কনফারেন্স এবং প্রোগ্রামে যোগদান করার পরে আমি নদীর সুরক্ষা, নদীর জনগণ এবং বিভিন্ন জেলা উপজেলা এবং বিভিন্ন দেশের সম্পৃক্ত বিভিন্ন দেশের ইয়ুথদের সাথে কথা বলা এবং বিভিন্ন প্রোগ্রামে তাদের সাথে আলোচনা এবং মেশা শুরু করি। সেক্ষেত্রে দেখা গেছে হিলসা ওয়াচ এবং নদী বৈঠক বা বিভিন্ন ক্যাম্পে গিয়ে তাদের সাথে আলোচনা করে, নারীদের সাথে আলোচনা করে আমি পেয়েছি যে নারীরা যে সমস্যাগুলো নিয়ে ভোগে, নদী কেন্দ্রিক যে নারীরা নদীতে বিভিন্ন সমস্যার সময়, বিভিন্ন দুর্যোগের সময় যে নারীদের সাথে এই জিনিসটা যেভাবে জড়িত আছে, সেই জিনিসগুলো তাদের সাথে আলোচনা করতে গিয়ে যেভাবে ওদেরকে আমি বিভিন্ন বিষয় নিয়ে আগ্রহী করে তুলতে পেরেছি, তাদেরকে সচেতন করতে পেরেছি, এমনই আমারও কিছু অভিজ্ঞতা হয়েছে তাদের সাথে আলোচনা করা। অনেক কিছু তাদের কাছ থেকে জেনেছি, অনেক কিছু আমি তাদেরকে জানিয়েছি। এমনকি বিভিন্ন এলাকার অভিজ্ঞ মৎস্যজীবীদের কাছ থেকে আমি নদীর আগের সম্পর্কে, যেগুলা হয়তো আমরা বর্তমানে যে প্রজন্মগুলো আছে আমরা জানি না, কিন্তু অভিজ্ঞ ফিশারম্যান যারা আছেন, বয়স্ক যারা আছেন, ওনাদের কাছ থেকে জেনেছি। ওনাদের কাছ থেকে জেনে সেই জ্ঞানের লেভেলটা আমি বৃদ্ধি করেছি। এছাড়া হিলসা ওয়াচের মাধ্যমে আমরা বিভিন্ন জেলার যেহেতু ইয়ুথদের সাথে কমিউনিকেট করতে পারছি, সেক্ষেত্রে বিভিন্ন জেলার ফিশারম্যানরা যেহেতু তাদের কাজ করছে, তাদের তথ্য দিচ্ছে, সেক্ষেত্রে বিভিন্ন জেলার তথ্যটা আমরা জানতে পারছি এবং এক এলাকার সাথে অন্য এলাকার কি সমস্যা আছে, কি সুবিধা আছে, কি সুবিধা এক এলাকার জেলেরা পাচ্ছে অন্য এলাকার জেলেরা পাচ্ছে না, সেই জিনিসগুলো আমরা দেখছি। এবং নারীরা এবং পুরুষরা এখানে কিভাবে কোথায় তাদের ভয়েস গুলো তুলে ধরার চেষ্টা করছে বা তুলে ধরতে চাচ্ছে, সেই জিনিসগুলো আমরা নদী বৈঠক এবং বিভিন্ন তথ্য সংগ্রহের মাধ্যমে পাচ্ছি। এছাড়া নারীরা যে বর্তমানে নারীরা যে নদী সম্পর্কে, নদী বৈঠক করার সাথে সাথে নদী তারা যে নিজেদের সম্পর্কে জানছে এবং নদীতে আসলে তাদের যে কতটা অধিকার সেই জিনিসটা জানছে, সেই জিনিসগুলো থেকে আসলে ওরা আমাদেরকেও জানাচ্ছে এবং সেই জিনিসটাতে ওরা অনেকটা সচেতন। এই যে
only have 2 minutes left, so please.
এই জিনিসগুলা যাচ্ছে অভিজ্ঞতার পাশাপাশি আমার এই কাজগুলো করতে আমার কিছু চ্যালেঞ্জ ছিল। যেমন হচ্ছে এখানে আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে সবসময় যে কাজগুলো আমার অনুকূলে ছিল তা না, বিভিন্ন সময় আমার পথের দূরত্ব এবং হচ্ছে যে নদীতে যাওয়া, নদীর দুর্যোগের সমস্যা, বিভিন্ন সমস্যার কারণে আমার কাজগুলো করতে একটু চ্যালেঞ্জ হয়ে গিয়েছিল। এই যে এখানে দেখতে পাচ্ছেন সবাই, আমি নদীতে বসে নৌকাতে থেকেই ওনাদের সাথে, জেলে কমিউনিটির সাথে নদী বৈঠক করছি, কারণ তারা আমাকে সময় দিচ্ছিল না প্রথম অবস্থায়, কারণ আমি একটা অপরিচিত মেয়ে, তারা অনেক বয়স্ক, তার উপর আমি একজন ইয়ুথ হিসেবে কাজ করছি। কতটুকু বিশ্বাসযোগ্য এবং কতটুকু ওদের সাথে সাহায্য করতে পারবো সেই জিনিসটা ওদের বিশ্বাস গড়ে তোলার অনেক সময় লেগেছিল। এই মানুষগুলা আমার সাথে অনেক সময় আমি নদীতে বিভিন্ন ঝড় গিয়ে তাদের সাথে এভাবে নদী বৈঠক করতে হয়েছে। এছাড়াও আমাদের এই এত কিছু প্রতিবন্ধকতা পরেও আমরা ইয়ুথরা যারা কাজ করছি, আমাদেরও কিছু ভবিষ্যতে আমরা চাচ্ছি যে আমাদের কিছু স্বপ্ন বাস্তবায়িত হোক, আমাদের এই সমস্যাগুলো কাটিয়ে উঠে আমরা আমাদের জেলেদের জন্য এবং দেশের জন্য, নদীর জন্য আমরা কিছু করতে চাই স্ট্রংলি। এবং আমাদের নারীরা যাতে এই ওয়াটার সেক্টরে এবং ওয়াটার গভর্নেন্সে যে নারীদের যে সমস্যা হচ্ছে, নারীরা যে ভায়োলেন্সের শিকার হচ্ছে, এই জিনিসগুলো যারা রুখে দাঁড়াতে পারে, সেই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা নারীরা এবং ফিশার কমিউনিটি সবাই যাতে আমরা একজোট হয়ে কাজ করতে পারি, সেই ক্ষেত্রে আমাদের মৎস্যজীবী ফিশারিজ ম্যানেজমেন্ট এবং যে ওয়াটার ম্যানেজমেন্ট যে পলিসি যারা আছেন, প্রশাসনিক বা কর্মকর্তারা যারা আছেন, তাদের দৃষ্টি আকর্ষণ করার চেষ্টা করছি আমরা, যাতে ওনারা আমাদের এই জিনিসগুলো তুলে ধরে এবং আমাদেরকে এই সুযোগটা দেয়, ওনাদের সাথে আমরা যাতে আমাদের মতামত প্রদান করে ভবিষ্যতে কাজ করতে পারি। সর্বোপরি আমার কথার প্রেক্ষিতে আমি এখানে আপনাদেরকে দেখাতে চাচ্ছি, এটা হচ্ছে আমাদের 2019-এর আমাদের ইউথ ক্যাম্পের একটা ছবি, যেখানে আমরা কয়েকটা দেশের প্রচার সম্পৃক্ত কয়েকটা দেশের কমিউনিটি ইউথটা একসাথে হয়েছিলাম এবং আমাদের বিভিন্ন নলেজ শেয়ার করেছিলাম, যার মাধ্যমে হচ্ছে আমরা ডে টু ডে আমরা প্রত্যেক সবার সাথে যোগাযোগ করছি এবং বিভিন্ন দেশের সমস্যা সুবিধা জানছি। এই সব বলে সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি আমার প্রেজেন্টেশনটা দেখার জন্য। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
Nusrat-ji, you only have 1 minute. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. I'll be very brief in summarizing what she said. So what Ms. Aisha said, that she shared her experience using citizen science approach like Nodi Boitok and working against gender-based violence. So she mentioned by saying that from her earlier life, she was always part of volunteering work in her community, especially growing up by the rivers. But she always used to face resistance from her surrounding communities to work volunteering. But despite that, she continued her work. She got support from her family. She also had a desire to work with the riverine issues, but she didn't find any scope until she got engaged with TROSA in 2018. So while working with TROSA, she got to develop more knowledge on water governance issues, policies, and right now she's leading the Nodi Boitok grassroots advocacy process in different districts of Meghna Basin. She's leading Nodi Boitoks in 2 villages per month, where she discusses various issues with communities related to fisheries. She works with women's youth and discusses various aspects of water governance issues. She also facilitates, solutions derived from the communities, and also advocates for them at various national and upazila or union level government. And one of her another involvement is in terms of inclusive fisheries management through Fisha Watch, which is through which they collect data from fisher folks from different districts of Meghna Basin. During fishing ban, they collect that data whether their rights are being violated or not. And she also leading currently a water governance module for women leaders at Meghna Basins, where they are being taught different aspects of leadership on women, different aspects of water governance issues with women. And She also worked with private sector and CSOs and working with youths on raising awareness or various water governance issues on different international days like Youth Day, International Women's Day. Now, she also shared her experience both working as a youth and women. She mentioned that working with women leaders and working with, these different kind of initiatives gave her a new perspective, especially for the women who are impacted due to, water governance related decisions. She realized how unpaid care work burden is prevalent, especially prevailing among the fishing communities during fishing ban. She saw that during disaster or during fishing ban, how the women in fisheries face domestic violence or domestic violence and also face care work burden. And it also developed new perspective among her. And she also mentioned about how as a youth she faced challenges working with the community. For example, as a youth or as a woman, she had to go to distant island to conduct Nodi Botus, which is very challenging for her, because there is no safe mode of transportation for her to go. But there sometimes she has when her work was finished, it was evening at night. So she used to face resistance from her family as well, but she eventually managed to, overcome the challenges. She also got support from her office. Also, she mentioned in one of her slides that she had to conduct Nodi Boituk in boat as well, while fisher folks didn't give her time, giving her excuse. And she also, while mobilizing the women, especially, she faced some kind of resistance, that women were scared to talk in Nodi Boituk platforms because of their male counterparts, especially. And but due to her continuous effort and a regular visit in that places, she started to get responses from them. And finally, she said that despite all the challenges, as a youth, she has some visions. She dreams that all the youths and women get a safe environment and their voices and the marginal communities concerns are reflected in water governance policies, acts, and practices. She wants that all the government to work with all the stakeholders, all the issues across the Meghna basins, and the youth get support at local and national level, and they work in a cooperative environment. She also mentioned about working with different youths across the borders. It's very important point, mentioned by her. She also believes that to ensure transboundary cooperation, working with youths across borders in a cooperative way is very important. And lastly, she thinks that both men and women need to work together to ensure rights in water governance and work against gender-based violence. So that's it. That's my brief point. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aisha ji and Nusrat ji, for the presentation. So in your presentation, you highlighted that how Aisha was motivated to work for the riverines and the challenges she faced while she was working, like conducting the Nodi Boituk in the boat, or the resistance from the family. And I believe that not just the participant themselves, everyone had their own stories and the constraints they faced on being engaged with the initiatives taken forward. But I believe the stories, the success will be very beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing all the information. So now we have our last presentation. We have another presentation by Mr. Bharat Acharya, and he is working as project coordinator at Sahmati, an organization based in Nepal since 2019. He brings to us his working experience on disaster risk reduction, livelihood, women empowerment, and transboundary rivers. He has also worked for recovery projects, mainly on humanitarian assistance, and he has more than 13 years of experience with working with different non-governmental organizations and government organizations. He holds master's degree in population science from Tribhuvan University and has also completed a 3-month course of climate change from Coady Institute, Canada. He has published a paper on unsafe migration of Nepal, published in 2013, and a post-disaster impact another paper published in 2015. Bharatji, you may please begin your presentation. Thank you, and you have a time limitation for 10 minutes. Thank you. Yes, Balaji, you're audible.
1 minute.
Hello, Balaji. Do you have
Sure.
any key problem?
Sure, sharing मा अलिकति प्रब्लम
म यताबाट शेयर गरिदा हुन्छ
हुन्छ।
Yeah, please, Balaji.
I would like to request Kumar sir, please to share the screen from there. Welcome and namaste to all on this program, International Seminar on the Youth Initiatives on Transboundary Water Governance and SDG. Next, please. And I'm working in Congregational Flood Resilient Transboundary Project in Narayani River Basin. It is funded by Lutheran World Relief, and the implement partner is Samati, at which I'm working. And there are 6 pillars of this project. One is early warning system, and the second one is community-based disaster management committee, and third is disaster resilient infrastructure, and fourth is climate smart livelihood, and fifth is safety net, and sixth public-private partnership. It means that in any community there should be a presence of these 6 pillars. Then only the community can be resilient. Next, please. And we are working in the early warning system to make community resilient, especially from flood. And we have made a connection between community and water measurement center Devghat, and people get the information of water level during monsoon season direct by contacting on this number. And in the same way, there is a Facebook page that name is Flood Resilient Narayani Gandak. From this Facebook page also people they can get easily the information of water level, and there is also a toll-free number 1155. From this number also people they can get the information of water level of Narayani River, and display board in police unit. We have installed a display board of Narayani River, which show the water level of Narayani River, and people they can get direct information from this. And in community base there is a flood gauge, and also we have supported to DOC and LUC. It means that especially when the water level increased from increase in Narayani River, then people they call to water management center in Devghat, and the water which comes directly from that Devghat, it takes 6 to 7 hours, and at that time people have enough time to evacuate their place and to be safe by themselves. Next, please. And we have formed that community-based disaster management committee that it inserts CDMC, and these CDMC are registered in respective in their ward offices, because to make link and also if we be back from our work station, or if our project is over, then also it will be continue. It means by registering them in ward offices. In the same way, there are 4 task forces in each CDMC: early warning, search and rescue, first aid, and camp management. And while forming this task force, women are given priority, and women are incorporated in each task force, and training are given regarding flood to each task force. And we have supported that life-saving equipment to them. Next one, please. And there is a disaster resilient infrastructure. The project had constructed model houses there, to the vulnerable people living in Narayani River Basin. In the same way, there are emergency shelter houses at which people they can be safe and they can take their families to there during floods. And Gavin Wall, Safe Exit Road, Culvert, and causeway, these are constructed from the project site to make people resilient. And fourth is that emergency fund, that safety net, which completed that emergency fund, insurance, and saving credit. We have promoted 8 cooperative, and among them 5 are women cooperative. Solely women, they manage these 5 cooperatives, and the total capital is 14 crore. Because people living in that vulnerable area, they can be recovered rapidly if they have a sufficient fund of that emergency fund or insurance or saving and credit. And the next one is livelihood. We have supported the people for their livelihood and public-private, and we have some link there for the private partners. Next one, please. Next, please. And there are some key challenges also, because due to Gandak Treaty between Nepal and India in 1959, even a single work for mitigation we cannot do from Nepal side. So though we are trying to make people flood resilient, but it is quite difficult to make flood, to block to block the flood to enter from in the community. And on the other side, smuggling of pebble and sand from Narayani, it also makes more vulnerable to the community. These are our key challenges, and work and during monsoon season, we to play mic at temple or mosque regarding the flood information. As a result, a large number of people they will be safe, and they get the information directly from their local temple and mosque. And insurance also, almost there are 3,000 people they are covered in insurance, and if they lost their property or livestock or that agriculture crops, then they can get some compensation, which help to recover to them from this. And we like to do that. My interest is to do workshop after this COVID situation, to participate people from Mustan to Patna, because the Narayan River where we work, it starts from the Mustans and it ends to Patna. So if we do the workshop and share their idea, then also it also helps to make more resilient to them. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Kamal. Bharatji, and also Kamalji for your support.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Bharatji, for sharing your work, like what Sahamati has been doing in Narayani River Basin, and also sharing about the initiatives about the project that you have taken, like the early warning system, the community-based disaster management, disaster resistant structures, safety nets that you mentioned, like insurance to 3,000 people, something like, and also about the public and private sector engagement. So that brings, a holistic approach to how we should work. And I believe there's a lot of, like cross-learning from TROSA and also from the project that you are leading there. So thank you very much. Now we have a short video by our youth basin ambassadors. This video is about the, about the youth basin ambassadors, and they share the key way forward in relation with the transboundary water governance and sustainable development goal. This video has been developed by Nagaraj and Tawheed Hussain. Tawheed is currently working as research consultant at the Center for Environment and Geographic Information Service, a public trust under the Ministry of Water Resources of the Government of Bangladesh. He has worked on national and international initiatives relating to water, availability and environmental impact in his brief career of 2 years. And similarly, Ms. Nagaraj, he has been working, he's a passionate YouTuber and believes in the knowledge dissemination through videos and small awareness activities based in studies, developing GIS application, mobile apps for prudent water usability are his active research engagement areas since 2014. So I request Kamalji to please share the video that has been developed by our fellow friends. Thank you.
Hello everyone. India is a selected youth basin ambassadors who are creating solutions for transboundary water, climate change, and human rights issues under the Regional Youth Dialogue Series 2021, supported by Transboundary Rivers of South Asia or TROSA of Oxfam. This Regional Youth Dialogue Series aims to build capacities of the next generation water leaders. This program is driven by the positive effects that youth representation can bring in transboundary governance and management. Through this program, we want to promote voice in dialogues and decision making in transboundary water cooperation in Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Meghna basin. This is achieved by creating a regional platform for ambassadors to share their aspirations, experience, and formulate action plan together. These action plans and associated roadmaps for the good governance on relevant issues is the unique feature of the program. In this way, with mentoring support and skill enhancement, the program equips us to better handle the issues at the intersection of water, climate, and human rights.
We have a structure. It has 80 stages, including the operation, review, and presentation of the work of the piece. The first stage was the selection of delegates. The second stage began when we were invited to participate in the first session of the dialogue in April 2021. Following this, all the ambassadors formed 4 different teams to collaborate and did preparation plans and future plans. In the third stage, we submitted our action plans as teams. In stage 4, we gained a better understanding of transboundary water issues in a orientation workshop held in May and June of 2021. During the workshop, we had interactive sessions with experts from fields such as international water law, governance, flood management, the rights of business people, policy development, etc.
Currently, we are in stage 5 and working on completing the action plan. Each team has mentors from the above array of people who are continuously extending and holding support throughout the planning and execution of the project. And also, when required, necessary financial support has been provided to the ambassadors for the execution of their project. In stage 6, we will submit our roadmap report in the mid of September. In stage 7, we will receive the feedback on the report, and the second regional youth dialogue will be held in the third week of September. Through the RYD, each team will present their findings and develop programs. On the completion of this stage, in the 8th and final stage, the successfully graduated participants will get a certificate from TROSA Oxfam. An additional aspect of this program is Freedom Lab, where many new innovative ideas from the ambassadors are being executed independently. Our team is called Team Ink and Water. We are the dominant media narrative for transboundary water issues, the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. We have 2 ambassadors in our from Bangladesh, India, and Nepal. As you may know, newspapers play a very prominent role in shaping public opinions on water security and management. So we will select articles covering water governance issues in one local language newspaper from each of the 3 countries and study their agenda framing between 2019 and 2020. The expected outcomes will highlight the importance of evidence-based reporting. We have 1 ambassador from Bangladesh. We are working on policy to evaluate the water coverage. Our focus will be more to start with the transport. Very limited work has been done of Krishna to tackle this good. The intergovernmental interaction between the watershed and that by the need of the art there is a multilateral thing of power across the world. Hence, the bottom up with the right to get approach to what is being provided. We advocate to this bottom up.
We are 6 dynamic ambassadors from India, Nepal, and Bangladesh working together as team trailblazer. We are gathering evidences to youth perception in relation to water pollution and its management from the 3 countries. We believe that youth inclusion in addressing this issue is very important. Youth represent 16% of the total global population and are the future leader of the world. Our roadmap aims to inspire and influence transboundary water health program designers with the possible pathways of engaging the youth to advocate against and managing water pollution.
Our team is called Water Warriors. We are from India and Bangladesh. We are looking at 5 disasters in the Krishna River basin shared by India and Bangladesh. We are analyzing the vulnerable cases of the basin using visualized based research. We will then look at the existing treaties and policies related to various countries. We aim to present recommendations for inclusion of ecological studies, technology application, and community participation in flood-management policies.
Starting from April 2021, we have now raised halfway through the program. We have had several key learnings so far. Through our interactions with the experts on different aspects of water, climate, and human rights, we have gained an understanding about the challenges and the various stakeholders of the Ganga Brahmaputra Meghna basin. We are now better informed about the riparian communities and their indigenous as well as new practices for resilience building and adaptation.
We have gained insights into the laws and policies on water governance and their impact on communities within the river basin. We have also realized that human and youth decision making is crucial to change the dynamics of daily governance. This program has reiterated the need and power of collaboration to make positive change happen.
Water governance is a complex issue. Over the course of this program, we have identified several ideas which can be implemented at the ground. One unique idea from the learnings of the program is to optimize the water governance by making school and college students understand the water source system that exists in their surroundings. This can be followed by making them manage the water source system in an optimal way as a community.
Therefore, climate change. We face an immediate challenge with respect to water governance due to climate-induced difficulties. This climate system is very complex and also needs to do with set of climate goals where low carbon emissions and integrated basin management. The unprecedented situation urgently calls for multilateral and integrated basin management. Therefore, community mobilization, including women and marginalized people, are asking for political action in the need of an hour. So, inclusion of variety of stakeholders will make this more mobilization more sustainable.
Human right is access to clean water and sanitation is a fundamental right. Grounds for the water, women provide the ability to find solutions for water and human rights. A possible intervention in this regard with the use of technology. Social media platforms are potential channels of influencing community engagement in water governance. For example, these platforms could be used to design community with early warning system and a type of just. This can help to increase awareness and pollution and cross-borders.
As you have heard from my fellow basic ambassadors, this program aims to promote young professionals in the Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Meghna basins to discuss and create solutions on issues related to water, climate, and human rights in this region. This is the most unique feature of our program, as water and
climate are closely linked to transforming conditions and affect communities beyond political and geographical lines. With the ongoing climate crisis, such unified action is required across all countries. Furthermore, this program has reiterated the importance of strengthening the voices of young leaders and highlighting the ways in which they can challenge stereotypes. It is everybody's responsibility to take care of the planet. We, as youth, have a crucial role to play by participating in the global actions to build a more sustainable world. This network of young minds is committed to take this mission and action forward. Remember, we are all in this together.
So thank you very much for the like the wonderful video that you have come together, and I like this was really something inspiring, and I believe like together working this way we will definitely achieve what we want to achieve with regards to water governance, with regards to climate management and human rights. So now we have the special remarks session, and the special remark on this session will be done by Zareen Ahmed and Kamal Hussain. Zareen Ahmed is a development worker promoting environmental education and human rights through skill-based training facilitation. After graduating from Department of English, University of Dhaka, Zareen was trained by TROSA, Oxfam and Global Platform Bangladesh and ActionAid on environmental and social issues. Mr. Kamal Hussain is a river activist in riverine people, Bangladesh. He has finished his BBS and MSS in sociology and has an interest to work with river and river-based community. He wants to protect the river for the next generation. He has keen interest and on training, motivation activities, youth development, employment generations, and skill-based development works. So I request Kamalji and Zareen to please come forward with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us the chance to speak. Let me just share my screen. All right, so hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Zareen Ahmed. I was a volunteer at TROSA, and I came to join as a volunteer after I was a participant at the River Camp 2019.
Hi, I'm Kamal Hussain. I was also a volunteer at TROSA and was participant at 2019 River Camp.
All right, so welcome to our presentation. We're going to talk about we're going to share our stories as women and youth in citizen science and raising voice against gender-based violence. So to start with, we want to share how we came to work for the rivers. So for my case, I grew up in an urban area, but my native village is in Shariatpur, which has many wetlands and marshes, and my native home is exactly on the bank of Kirtinasha. It's a beautiful tributary of Podda. I used to visit our village every year. With every visit, we saw the already industrialized area getting more and more consumed by factories, deforestation, brick fields, etc. So this used to bother me a lot, and I started volunteering for creating awareness among youth. And later, I got a chance to participate in the River Camp 2019 and got connected to more riverine people. I also met Kamal at the River Camp.
And of course, my connection with river is since childhood. As I grew up by the river, Boro River, we used to do everything surrounding the river, starting from bathing in the river to fishing. Every part of our lives was intricately connected with rivers. But the situation is very different now. The fishers are gone, the beauty is gone, the river is drying up. We can't use river water for cooking anymore due to pollution. Thinking of the future generations, we want to protect and conserve the river and river resource. That's why I started working for rivers. And when we started to work for the rivers and river-based communities, during our university life, we collected data from field for research and reports. So we learned about the different problems that they face. One of which is our main topic of discussion today, gender inequality and normalization of violence. In a fisherfolk community, when a committee is formed, there is little or no opportunity for women to participate. Meeting for forming the committees or any kind of decision making is held without the presence of women. When a decision is taken, their needs are not considered. Only the male fishermen's needs are addressed. When a woman tries to speak up, a male figure has to assert that for treating of importance. Also, women mostly play the role of fish processing, which is unpaid care work, of course. And fishers, if for any reason don't get enough fishes, they express their anger on their wives and the family. The fishers are abused language with them, and domestic violence is common scenario there. Of course, there is the clear concept of gender-based violence in the fisher community in our Bangladesh.
So why do the survivors of such violence stay silent about it? It is because of the lack of access to legal and social help. People consider it a sin to speak up against the husband. There is no support or shelter from own family even when there is a case of violence. And many girls are married off as a child, sometimes with fishing equipments as dowry. They face severe social criticisms and stigmatization. So due to this lack of safety, financial and security concerns, women in fisherfolk community don't report the violence. So things we can do from, what are the things we can do from our positions? Though the responsibility does not lie with women and youth alone, but we have our own roles to play.
Of course, research is important to take a real scenario from the field. We can carry out research by capturing the actual scenario of the fisher folk. Research can give an actual view about gender-based violence. So we have ARIANS, FGD, KII, PRA survey to collect data from the community to view the gender-based violence. And of course,
all right, and then we can also, we can use the data we collect from researchers for advocacy for policy reforms and implementation. And besides, we also have facilitated sessions on safeguarding. We have incorporated safeguarding policies in trainings. We can keep on growing expertise on the issues by exploring solutions through workshops and conferences.
And of course, discussion is the very important element for the gender-based violence to take any voice. So Nodi Boitok is play an important role. Then we can also directly meet with the communities and raise awareness among the communities. We can discuss about their rights with them. There is this practice of Nodi Boitok, that is river meeting, where youth leaders sit with the community members and talk. This is a really good way to connect with them and learn about their views about the river too. Water governance issues are cleared among the communities. So Nodi Boitok play an important role to make awareness against gender-based violence also.
And as youth, we also try to carry out some awareness-raising activisms. We use theater and art activisms like graffiti, mannequin show, etc. Kamal performed in a show called Bondi Vivek, or in English, it's Conscience Held Captive. It is a historical way to connect with people deeply. Whenever there is a crisis, we can promote awareness messages through theater. We also created support networks where people can come and share their experiences. So while working regarding these issues, we came across some challenges as well. Whenever we took part in a discussion for gender-based rights, there was always someone protesting. This lack of awareness is because of the superstitions or myths or dogmatic beliefs our society is built on. Like we said, like people consider it a sin to speak up against their husband and so on. So then we also have spoken with many people who went silent about the things they have faced because of this lack of trust and confidence in the legal system, because the number of convictions and penalties in gender-based violence cases is very, very low. As youth, we also have the risk of unsustainability due to the risk of career, because it is hard to focus on career and create activisms at the same time. There's a huge lack of relevant technical, financial, and human resources. Not that everything was negative, some things did work for us. Despite the challenges, we also had some existing networks and activisms that gave us the opportunity to work for the cause. When we started volunteering, we could get mentors who advise us on career growth, and we could be activists at the same time. When there is an organizational support, there is sustainability too. And this is very important because we observe that long-term relation and supports help to build better connections with the fisherfolk communities. And so they were more receptive towards new perspectives, and they felt more encouraged, when Fisher for community leaders supported it too. So there are further areas where we can intervene.
So areas where we can further intervene to prevent gender-based violence. Of course, prevention requires increased awareness of gender-based violence. This must be done on every scale, from global to local, justice seeker to duty bearer. Leaders and the public need to understand and the extent and nature of the problem, the factors that influence it, and what can be done. Leaders of government, civic institutions, and religious groups need to help change the norms and that have made such violence to pervasive for so long. And protection, of course, protection should also be pursued through a proper implementation of the laws against gender-based violence. If the law enforcement organizations implement of the laws, we can decrease gender-based violence from the community, of course. And third is partnership, and partnership enables collaboration with government agencies and non-governmental organizations to combat gender-based violence. So government agencies and non-governmental organizations make a strength power against gender-based violence. And rehabilitation, of course, rehabilitation both social and economic is another vital area of mainstreaming the survivors of gender-based violence. They must be supported rather than shunned, and they must have the financial resource to survive without their abusive husbands. And of course, monitoring. And monitoring is essential, as it provides the latest data to increase awareness of gender-based violence and energies efforts at prevention. Monitoring should be performed by government, but often falls to non-governmental organizations, both to collect the data and provide an independent assessment regardless governmental participation is vital. So when we make the 5 steps, we can protect, make a voice against gender-based violence. And to carry out these 5 steps, we need all government and non-governmental stakeholders to support us. We need more trainings, research opportunities to see proper policy reforms, and of course, their implementation. Everyone must step forward to end gender-based violence. It is important for all of us to join the march to a future where gender-based violence is no more in the Fisher Folk community, in our country, or all the over worldwide. And thank you very much to listen us.
Thank you so much. We will take any questions if there is.
Thank you very much, Irene and Kamal, for your wonderful presentation, sharing your own experience as how you both have been involved in this campaign, in this activism of what you are doing and what challenges you face and what you saw, what you observed. Thank you very much for all this observation. Now the floor is open for discussion. If you have any queries, please put forward. Okay, since I haven't seen any questions in the chat box, I have a few questions, and I want to, I want to understand, since we are working to, bring women leadership, bring women into the play, bring youth into the play. So I just want to understand, definitely the patriarchal roles, patriarchy, and the traditional gender roles that play use, as a constraint for women to come out of the community and to work and to be the leaders. So I want to, I believe engaging with men and boys is also crucially important. I think that was highlighted as well. So I want to, understand how we are engaging with men and boys, with the families of those women, to create an enabling environment for them, for women to be, leaders. And also I want to understand about this, and I want to, ask this question to Aisha and Ratna, for please, how you have been doing, how it has been doing in Bangladesh. Yeah. Aisha. Nusrat, are you there? Maybe you could translate it to her.
Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Actually, this is Jandan. I guess got disconnected. So I'm sorry. Can you just repeat the questions one more time? I'm really sorry.
Yes. So, you know, like when we are talking about engagement of women and youth, especially young girls and women, it's very challenging to break that, you know, the patriarchal norms that we have. So I want to, you know, like I want to know how you have been working with men's and boys groups and also with the families of these women and young women to ensure that, you know, they participate, they come out and they becomes the leaders. I just wanted to understand that.
Okay, I got that question. Thank you. So, Ashapa, শুনতে পাচ্ছেন? I guess connection issue. There's been connection issues here.
Janatapa, I am Moina. Sorry, Aisha Appa has load shedding problems, so she is disconnected actually.
I think someone else can take the question if it's like.
Yeah, so it's completely okay. So I think Chandanji, can you give your experience of how you have been, you know, engaging with boys and men?
Srishti, can I just add some points?
Yes, please, but yeah.
As so I was just waiting if anyone can respond, otherwise I would go. So during this time, the journey that Aisha Appa has explained, like of our like working journey in the community, as you mentioned, the like following the structure that is common in our society, it's very hard to establish women boys in a crowd, but you know, it took effort and it took repetitive initiatives, like to go in the crowd and talk about the issues that are not like that people are not comfortable to discuss and like not ready to accept that easily. And I would say, along with the effort to continue and encourage and like how do you say it, strength to continue this initiative. Along with that, I would say some background institutional support is also needed, like to introduce and establish the role first. Like for example, in the community, like, and like she got the place where she put her words. It was not like she said it and it was accepted instantly. It took several effort and different type of initiatives, like trial and error. What we say, we tried. If there is any error or finding happen, then we again went with that and tried in an inclusive and like equal environment.
So thank you, Fatima. Thank you so much for all the team for sharing their experiences, how they themselves were involved as leaders, or they themselves came forward. Like Bhavana shared about how being a woman, she was coming and being engaged, and she shared her role. And like Aisha and even Jareen, even Bharatji and everyone, they shared their role. Even Kamalji, he shared his role, how they were involved, you know, like in coming out, how they got engaged in transboundary water governance and their role in this whole citizen science and raising voice against gender-based violence. So now we are running out of time, and since we don't have much questions, I cannot see any. So now I would like to request Dr. Madhuri Singh to share her closing remarks for the session, and that brings us to end of the session as well. So thank you. Over to you, Dr. Madhuri Singh.
Thank you, Srishti. I know we are running out of time, and because you have summarized it very well, I don't have much to say. Yet, you know, it has been a great learning for me as well, and to be very encouraged. And I am very optimistic at the passion that the youth have in terms of, cleaning the river, in terms of saving the river. And yes, as the Nepal presentation, India presentation, Bangladesh presentation, all the presentations made it very clear that despite the progressive world, women still face gender-based violence. And yes, projects like this are trying to address those kind of issues also. And you, Srishti, very rightly talked about men's engagement in reducing gender-based violence, bringing men and boys into the platform, into the forefront to reduce gender-based violence, engaging families, which is very, very important in today's world. And not very, I see the passion in the two youth that talked about growing around the river and, seeing how the rivers are dying. I feel the same way about the rivers in Kathmandu too. The blue rivers that we saw when we went to school and the marsh that we see now. It is very sad, but the hope is there because everybody is, we are trying from our own level to try and protect and preserve whatever we can. Yet, I would still say that I would like to give credit to women and kudos to women who, despite facing challenges, are still out in the open and talking about reducing gender-based violence. The youth are there to talk about biodiversity preservation. So it has been a very, very wonderful session, learning and also hearing from the youth and women about their commitment to reduce gender-based violence or to move forward with the preservation of the planet. So with this, I would like to thank everybody, each one of you, for your wonderful presentation, for your dedication and commitment. And with this, I would like to close this session. Thank you very much, Srishti. Over to you now.
Thank you, everyone. So now we have our closing session, and I would like to request Kamalji to please carry forward.